Hi guys, Assalamualaikum. So we are waiting for Ustazah Ne'mat to join us. In the meantime, I just want to give you guys an introduction of who she is and also this Halal Savvy series. If you guys remember, Halal Savvy, we started it in Ramadan. We held one episode every week, and this time we've decided to continue it. And we are so happy to have Ustazah Ne'mat to join us today. On the topic of Syubhah and Syawat in food. This is something that I really want to talk about because a lot of the questions that I receive on DM especially, it has got to do with, hey Jones, is this halal or not? And whenever I ask about where these questions come from, it has always got to do with, I don't know whether it is due to lack of options or is it due to basically the temptation of food itself. And also I have encountered several different views on this matter, so I thought I'll ask guidance from Ustazah about this. Okay, so before I start, I just want to say that Halal Savvy is a series that is organized by Halal Food Hunt, and every week we'll be inviting guests to talk about food. So whether we invite Asatiza, if we invite Asatiza, it will be us talking about the Islamic aspect of food and halal food. Sometimes it's about technicalities, sometimes it is about basically how we manage food in our life as Muslims. Otherwise, if we don't invite Asatiza, we invite food experts. Those food experts that will be able to tell us about, for example, how cakes are made, what ingredients we should look out for, things like that. Because chefs, I tell you guys, chefs have the widest amount of knowledge and domain expertise. Sometimes we'll also be talking about basically what to look out for example, good pizza, you know. So it'll be interesting. So it's different aspects of food. So I hope I can cover all of it under Halal Savvy. And this is meant to be an educational content that is provided free for the public. After this live session will be saved as IGTV. And it will be repurposed as an article and also be repurposed as IG posts for sharing. And most of all, it will be available on Spotify. So you guys can go ahead and re-listen to these episodes that we have on Spotify. Okay? And because it's provided free and we are trying to remove or reduce our dependency on advertising income, I would also advise that if you guys are keen, you can contribute to the sustenance of this series of Halal Savvy of educational content and support us by making a contribution at ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com/Halal Savvy. So whatever that you guys contribute at Ko-fi, basically you guys buying us a coffee for having this session, it actually pays our Asatiza and our guests tokens of appreciation for sharing their invaluable knowledge with us, and also it pays our content creators who basically repurpose content for everybody's consumption and benefit. Okay, I'm gonna put the link here, or maybe Adriana, if you're listening, can you type out the link here so I can pin it. So if you guys want to make contributions for the sustenance of this program, feel free to do so at ko-fi.com. Okay, especially if you find that this series has benefited you. Okay, we have already 4 episodes up on Spotify. Someone's asking Spotify how to search. The title of our podcast is Halal Savvy. So you just search Halal Savvy and you should see my face. And when you see my face, that's the series. Okay? Okay, Ustazah Ne'mat is here. Assalamualaikum, Ustazah.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Can you hear me?
Ustazah always sound very serious.
Serious, okay.
Ustazah always sound very serious. I takut all the time.
Oh, okay. But can you hear me now, really?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay,
Okay.
Ustazah, before I invite you to talk about the topic, I just want to give you guys a rough background of Ustazah Ne'mat. Because I really value Asatiza who, how do you say, the background and where they got the knowledge. So usually I like to read out macam where they have studied and stuff like that. Okay, this one is my team prepared. So, okay, let's get to know Ustazah Ne'mat. Okay, Ustazah Ne'mat is the co-founder of the Modern Muslimah Project. Maybe later we'll get her to share with us a little bit about that. She can also be found sharing her insights on Islamic matters with Asatiza Nazira Fiawi on their YouTube channel. So go check out their YouTube channel, okay? Ustazah Ne'mat holds a diploma in Al-Quran Sunnah, and she has been serving the community as a freelance ustazah, sharing on basic Islamic knowledge and tafsir online. Her area of interest involves our approach in food, which is to eat halal and tayyib mindfully. So if you follow her personal account, she talks a lot about mindful eating. Okay, so follow her account lah. Then you guys can be informed on that. I have pinned. Okay, Ken. Assalamualaikum, Ustazah. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Good, Alhamdulillah. I just finished a long day.
But you look Alhamdulillah fresh.
Tanya filter semuanya.
Oh, okay.
Filter dan a lot of lighting. It's amazing what it can do for you, Ustazah. Okay, Ustazah. So without further ado, I just want to dive into the topic. Okay.
InsyaAllah.
Okay, so now I want to ask you, Ustazah, because like what I shared, one of the questions that I always receive. Okay, so my background is I am at some point in my career I was a halal auditor. So a lot, and I share a lot of halal matters stuff on my Instagram as well. And then a lot of people like to ask this question. Especially there was one day I actually shared about this fish. So this fish was sold at a supermarket. Lepas tu the fish is not just fish tau, it's cut fish. Lepas tu it is marinated with sauces. So there are 3 different type of sauce, and then I actually just posted IG story about it, and then I asked people to vote lah, and then I said, would you consider this to be halal, yes or no, or would you choose to avoid? So overwhelmingly, I think 80% said they would count that as Syubhah, and they will avoid it. Okay, but then there is the 20%. So the 20%, the opinion is that as long as it is not clearly stated that it is haram, or they never say what, because if you were to look at the labels actually do not state what is being used as marination. Yeah. So but being where I came from with some degree in food background, I kind of know that usually these kind of marinations, to make it last longer, they actually contain alcohol. So that's why I count it as Syubhah and I will not consume it lah. But the 20% says that as long as it's not stated that there is haram component in there, it should be taken as halal and we should be able to consume it. So I wanted to get your view on the matter, because kadang-kadang when they come at me, it can be quite scary lah. So macam mana, Ustazah?
Okay, first of all, thank you, Jum and Halal Food Hunt for having me. It is an honor. Okay, so I think in my personal life or basically on social media, I do talk about halal and haram stuff, but I put it in a mindful way lah. So instead of say this is halal or this is haram, I would say this is highly encouraged or this is highly discouraged. So because the word halal and haram can turn people off. Okay, so I'm even though my background is Islamic studies, but thanks to my mom especially, she will always talk about the ingredients since we are young. So I learn more, and plus not just the ingredient, I also learn more about the nutrition. So that's where my interest go about this. So going to your question, if you read the ingredients, and also you know that part of the food that we need to marinate, like for example, fish, if we need to keep it longer on the shelf, right? So you must make sure the substance or the things that they use to marinate or to keep the food longer is not mirin or is not any type of alcohol. So if there's no label, they don't say it, or even if you ask, they say there's no alcohol. But if you know at the back of your mind, the way for the food to be marinated, it need to use something that is Syubhah. So for me, Syubhah is grey area. In hadith say innama apa halal is clear, haram is clear. The in between is the grey area. But the best is for us to avoid it. Okay, so what I can say is that Syubhah is a grey area in between halal or haram. We must make sure every single food that we eat from the ingredient base is the substance is free from najas. So usually the grey area is because the way it made is not clean lah. And then as a Muslim, why is it so important for us to make sure the food is not shubha? Okay, because the relationship between food and health can go beyond fitness. A fit and healthy body can support us to have a great mindset. And then when we have a great energy, we can focus more on ibadah. So if you want to look more, you can read Ibn Sina. He wrote a lot of science and apa the body need. So he said, healthy body come in the healthy mind. So that's why we must make sure. So for some people, they say it's just a shubha. So why question it so much? Why you are sakitkan kepala to think about it? It is shubha. So it is your choice. Okay, but for me, as a consumer in Singapore, where the halal food is abundant, it is best for us to avoid it. Okay, unless if you were sent to somewhere, then there's no food, and you don't have much time to prepare for your food, and if you don't eat, it might your body might not be functioning well. Then you can eat, but to the point where you can be healthy, not to eat until you feel kenyang. Okay, so the point is, kalau syubha, the best is to leave it, tinggalkan. Because
kira whether we tinggalkan or whether we totally avoid it or leave it, or whether we are permitted to consume the syubha, it depends on the availability of halal in the area.
Correct.
So if halal is macam widely available
in Singapore, especially,
to choose the better option.
Yes. Even
so
though it's kurang sedap.
I see. so that means the syubha becomes highly discouraged.
Highly discouraged.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So but if we are in an area where macam kira, I think one of the questions she was asking about like what if we are in we're in a seminar. Lepas tu the seminar tu I cannot go out of the seminar, and I don't know whether the buffet line is halal ke tak. It's not indicated, and then I need to go back. I only have half an hour to eat, kan? And then like let's say food delivery semua tak ada, lepas tu I cannot go out, and if I don't eat lunch I will pingsan.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
that go. So if in that cases, right, it's called already like you need to, if you don't eat, like you will pengsan or will affect your health or something, right? Especially kalau orang yang ada health issue. Okay, so ada tu lah. Number one, you can eat like macam the vegetable, the salad, tapi dia punya the way you eat is not for you to like macam eat until you feel kenyang. Okay, you just have to eat that eat so that your spine can be straightened, so that your mind can focus. Ataupun at least macam to survive for another 4 to 5 hours like that. So I think in Singapore, I ever attended a workshop or a seminar which is in Sentosa. You know the food there, the halal option is not abundant lah. Okay, and then of course I'm reckless during that time. So what I will do is just I survive on drinking something that is macam like coffee ke chocolate yang I confirm benda tu memang halal. Okay, and kalau tidak pun I just keep drinking on the water. But for me, is that best. Usually when we have workshop, I don't think so your boss will say, Jom tomorrow, you are your own boss, I know, but this is just example. Jom tomorrow I'm sending you to a workshop, some ulu place in Singapore. Then you balik lambat, then you don't have the time to do research to prepare your own food, then it is okay lah for you to eat whatever that is available, even though macam syubha. Tapi if you have the energy, you have the time, best to make your research and do your food preparation. Bring your own simple food like macam korma. One date can last you for, if it just a meeting workshop, right? I think one korma can last you from morning until maghrib. Okay, but different people have different energy level. But in my experience, that one can lah. So the thing is that you have to try your best to make sure you have something halal to eat. Okay, but if you cannot, memang kalau tak makan, tak ada, memang tak terdesak, the word is terdesak, right? Emergency. Then only you can go for it, the syubha food. But again, eat so that you are stronger, or you can focus on the seminar. Not to eat because, it's a free food. No.
Okay, so lah. Tapi is it wajib for us to try our best to like make sure that we have halal food?
Yes.
Macam, to use your context kan, it means that kalau I am super prepared, that means I will have to bring bekal in preparation of like I already anticipate tak ada halal food there.
So if you really know macam feel can think ataupun can like macam agak-agak this place, especially if the organizer of the seminar is not a person who is halal savvy, not a Muslim. But don't be surprised, sometimes non-Muslim company also they provide halal food if they know they are Muslim participant. But this is a worst scenario lah. Okay, there's no food and the food they only serve is, even though it's vegetarian lah, for example. But you must make sure the dressing they put to make the the vegetable look fresh, right? You must make sure it's not if you can ask, you ask. But if you cannot ask, you eat according to your need only. Like 1-2 suap cukup lah. Okay, but for me, even if you follow food nutrition, food coach ke, health coach ke, they don't say akan cakap, if you want to travel, get out of your house, you must at least bring your own food. Dia kata a handful of nuts ke, okay, korma, dates, dried fruit. This is the essential for us to bring beside the hand sanitizer now. Okay.
Faham.
So the point is, kalau nak to keep simple, syubha food can only be touched if it's in urgent or necessary for you to take it. Okay, bila terdesak, not suka-suka. So as a Muslim, you whenever you want to go out of your house, you must have some like macam bekal for yourself. Like now, if you want to go out, you must make sure there's a sajadah for us, or there's sock or prayer garment, right? So number 2, food lah. If you are a person yang macam cannot tahan lapar, right? So you must have something that is nutritious and easy to bring, like korma, kacang inside your handbag for ladies. Cannot malas lah.
I see. What? Yeah, that is actually the point that I was trying to drive at tadi. Macam, I feel like listening to you is not just about whether the food is haram, halal, or whether it can eat or cannot eat. It's about us as a Muslim and whether we are prepared for such situation, and the amount of work we actually have to do. Macam, it's part of being Muslim to be prepared and to do our best to ensure that there is halal for us to eat.
Yes.
Macam rasanya macam berat sikit lah.
Tak apa.
I feel like,
when we feel,
because I'm the kind that kalau
when we feel leceh, right? When we feel leceh, you say, Ya Allah, this is so leceh, this is so troublesome, but I hope you look at this, my struggle, as one of the way that I get closer to you. So that is how we motivate ourselves lah. When we feel leceh or berat, right? We think, why we are so so strict about this? Because Allah said so, right? Because Allah already said. So we do it also because of Allah, not because what will people say about me if I eat this food. No, we do it because Allah said so. So if you feel macam leceh betul, burden, right? Okay, remember, zaman Rasulullah nak makan lagi susah. Have to sembelih. Now we just have to buy. So now our technology is at our fingertip, right? So why don't we use the technology to Google to find out I'm sure there will always be lah, especially if in Singapore, in Malaysia. But unless emergency case, memang itu Allah maafkan. Okay?
I see, I see. Okay, okay. Okay, faham. I have a next very serious question because I had this very serious debate with someone on DM. Lepas tu macam dia punya DM dia panjang berdela lah.
Oh,
So
okay.
her approach to this, to Syubhah, is that macam asalkan dia tak tulis. Okay, sorry, I have to convert to English because I have non-Muslim, non-Malay listeners. If let's say the ingredient does not state that it is haram or there is a like macam tadi I cakap pasal fish tu kan, I say that because I know like how you make such food, like I know how people make cakes, I know how people make like marinate fish and all that, I know the ingredients. There is a possibility that such ingredients are used and it's not halal. Macam red wine, dia buat stew. Kalau you buat stew, you boleh pakai red wine atau you tak boleh, or you boleh pakai boleh avoid pakai red wine. You buat sushi, you boleh letak mirin or you boleh tak letak. Or you bikin cake, you boleh use vanillin or you tak pakai. And all these are macam kira syubhah ingredients or non-halal ingredients. And then there's a possibility that it is inside the food. Tapi dia tak letak there's no like label that there is inside the food. Kan? So I use that as reason to avoid the food. So to me that is enough of a syubhah for me. So one of our followers actually macam question me on this lah, and she was pretty hard on the questioning. So she said that asalkan the cake tu tak letak that dia pakai vanillin kan, you should just take it as halal. And you should just take it as halal and you should be able to consume it. Like why do you doubt the halal status of the cake, for example, when it's not stated clearly that vanillin is used in the cake. Vanillin is kira non-halal ingredient lah gitu. So maybe Ustazah, can you like macam explain to me like why and how, like where does this understanding come from? Because I don't think this level of this understanding comes from our area kan, like from Singapore, Mazhab Syafi'i. I feel, I don't know. Yeah, I was hoping to get your views on it.
Okay, so people mindset, there are different type lah. There are people who like to think very hard. There are people who like just look at the surface and take it as it is. Okay, but remember the hadith say the halal is clear, the haram is clear. What is in between that, which we don't know, better to avoid it. Even one of the chef, okay now I forgot his name, but he's a British chef. Dia kata whatever word that you cannot pronounce, don't eat it. Dia cakap yang tu. So he's not a Muslim, but he say any ingredient that you don't know how to pronounce, it's better for you to leave it. Okay, so if we know this food, in order for us to prepare it, need certain ingredient which we know is not halal, but it's not mentioned. But we know, right? Okay, so we must leave it. But like for example, we really don't know, okay, and then we don't have the means or to find out the source or anything. Then it is served in front of us. Then okay lah, Bismillah. But then if you saw people eat it, right? You don't tu kan haram, tu kan tu haram. Don't do that to the people lah. Okay, so personally, I will encourage, if possible, leave it lah. There's no such thing as, since that there's not stated in the ingredient, it's not stated, right? So just take it as halal lah.
No such thing, is it?
I mean, if you already know, right, we know how the food is made. Okay, so there's a program called How It's Made, right? It's best for program for people to watch. So if you know how the food is made, even though it's not stated in the ingredient, so it is best for us to leave, because we have other choice that we can eat other food. Okay, unless lah back to the emergency, then it's okay.
I see. Okay. I was thinking that macam, because after we talked at length about that, I was like macam reflecting a lot about this and about macam about how macam halal can be dynamic between countries. So macam something that is halal in Singapore or something that is not halal in Singapore might be halal in other countries. Like just now we were talking about the availability of halal food in Singapore kan macam abundant kan. So there's basically no reason for us to touch the syubhah. Tapi could it be possible that macam this kira let's say this was a directive given by an asatiza in another country kira kan, that as long as the food is not stated that there's something haram in it, we should just take it as halal and we can consume it. Is it possible that such a directive or such a guidance is being given to countries yang halal food is not abundant? Because when I was living in Europe, that was the case macam there were not that many halal food available, so macam we take it as long as it's not haram, we can consume it. Is that possible? Like, is that possible? Like, where I mean, I'm just trying to understand where the idea come from.
Okay. I dare not to comment that. But the thing is that when in emergency case, right? Even pig also we can eat, right? So if the food like macam it's not, kita tahu benda tu dia macam contohnya cake lah, for example. Okay, so the seller of course is not a Muslim, tapi macam they claim we use natural product. So if you really need to eat because there's no other option, even though it's in the country which is not, there's no halal food, right? Then it's allowed. You have to see the situation lah. Okay, but the thing is, we no matter where we are, we need to try our best to source for the halal product first. Okay. So because in emergency case, like pig is clearly haram, right? But in emergency case, there's no other thing that we can eat except pig. Okay, then Allah allow. But that one also the ruling is that for you to eat until your spine can be straightened. Okay, not to like macam enjoy, savory. No, that's not the case. But I think you can ask like macam Imam Suhaib Web, who is literally living in the US. He's quite active on Instagram. Maybe you can check it out on him. Okay. But it's for me, no matter where you go, if you want to travel to the countries like Korea, like for example, right? Japan. So the first thing is that you need to do research. Where is the halal food? Second, you connect with the Muslim community over there. Third, bring your own food. And it's part of the struggle as a Muslim. We do it because of Allah. It is going to be leceh, but when we try our best to prepare the food, inshallah it will be fine.
Okay. Tadi you mentioned that need to see context. Need to see context kan? Is that a way to macam reference the dynamism of halal? If you get what I'm referring to, macam halal is dynamic lah. It's not something that is forever, something that is haram is forever haram. You get what I mean? Something that is haram is not forever haram, because under certain circumstances you are permitted to consume it. Right? Kan?
Can you repeat again because you got stuck just now?
Oh, okay. So macam, am I right to say that this is macam a bit, there's a little dynamism of halal. So it's dynamic because something that is syubhah, right? In some countries, in our context where halal is abundant, we are highly encouraged to avoid it, because in our context, it is kira not the best choice So we do our best. The better choice is always around. But in a context where halal is not available or not as available, then it is highly encouraged for you to consume the syubhah, because if not, you basically cannot survive. Kan? You consume it to survive, not consume it to enjoy, savor, and live your life.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. So
so
like
it's
if you are
dynamic.
a student over there, right? Then
Mm.
your biggest challenge is to prepare your own food lah.
Mm, 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 mm.
Eat
Faham. So
raw
that's where
food,
you
raw vegetable.
mak bapak will hantar makan. I see,
Hmm.
I see. I see. Okay,
Hmm.
faham. Okay. Now, Ustazah, can you explain this relationship between Syubhah and Syahwat? I was very interested when I first learned about this from you, and after I did some research, I had several discussions with my friends about it, and I learned that one of the biggest temptations for a Muslim, right, is the top two is sex and food. Is that right?
Correct.
And I thought it was macam, yeah, I thought it was macam the lure of women is the strongest for men, and I thought that was the first, and then second is food. But my friend mentioned that it's no, it's actually the same level. Like food and sex are together. Macam the nafsu is for us to control, is that is actually the hardest to control. Is that right? It's the same level.
It's kind of interesting, yeah, to say actually food and sex is like macam almost the same lah. Because Saidina Umar, he made one of these guy. He every day he will eat food, also meat, daging. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
then one of the Islamic scholars also said, right, when we eat too much meat, then it will become an addiction. After that, it will make the person to become apa dia punya sexual desire is very high. But you need to know, syahwat is not just focused on just the sex. Syahwat is the worst level of nafsu, of desire. Okay? So, have you ever heard a person say, makan tak boleh stop. I
Mm.
cannot stop my temptation to food. Okay, that is actually your mindset is telling it. So when you say, when I eat this, I cannot stop, then the brain will say, okay lah, eat. Then you won't feel. That's why you only stop until nak termuntah. Okay, so
Mm.
why Allah give us this feeling or this desire to eat, to apa, have sex with our partner, only with our partner that is halal. Okay, so the thing is, the desire to eat food is that is for us to train ourselves. If we can manage, and I think this is mentioned by Imam Al-Ghazali, if you cannot control and manage your desire to eating, then you will or you might have trouble to control and manage the rest of the things in your life. So food is the simplest way and also the hardest way, the hardest challenge for us to overcome it. Okay? And someone now in Singapore, orang cakap apa? Most of the food is halal. It's much more harder for me to control the temptation to eat. Okay? So they say, right, Syubhah and Syahwat is like a sibling. Okay? So when you have the temptation, you cannot control your temptation to eat, right? So when you when you saw something that is Syubhah and you put I want to eat, I want to try higher than anything else. So that's why you are quite brave enough to go and touch the Syubhah food. So these two things can make
Mm.
you lose focus. Okay? So our main focus in this life is only to please Allah, not to please others. Okay? And Allah is the one who give us the guideline, what is halal, what is haram, what is Syubhah. What must we do, what must leave, tinggalkan. Okay? So, then Allah give us this feeling, this thought, this desire is because Allah want to test us. If we manage to follow what Allah said, don't follow what our desire say, then we will become the successful Muslimah or Muslim. Okay. So the test is to make us more aware of our choices, of our life. And Allah say, in Al-Quran also, right? When you said that you are Muslim, do you think that I will leave you without any test? No. Allah said, I will test you. So the test is come in food. The easiest one come in food. So we need to manage our temptation, our desire. Mm.
Oh my god, I was macam ni tau, macam as Muslims we try to be the best version of ourselves, kan? So we try to choose like in terms of food, we try to choose like the most halal one at wherever we are, kan? Or we, if not, we prepare the most halal food for us. The fact that macam this, I feel like this nafsu makan ni, it's like it's harder for us to control. And because macam when it comes to sex, it's very clear cut. Get married and then that is the halal sex for you. Outside of marriage is haram. So macam
Yes.
it's very clear lah, macam oh ni boleh ni tak boleh. Dia tak ada halfway, tak ada syubhah langsung. It's very very clear. So it's very easy to macam control in that area. Tapi when it comes to food, the Masya Allah, the syubhah side, that is the macam, it's harder to control than the other nafsu, right Ustazah?
Yes, true. And then sometimes
Yes.
the temptation ataupun the desire to eat, right? It not actually because we are hungry, but because we are boring, we don't have anything to do. So we go to the quick fix food. Then we become addicted to it. So I think if you can get someone who is in psychology who can think about mind and food, right? This will be a very interesting topic to talk.
Oh, psychology of food ah.
Hmm.
Faham. Okay. I a bit macam, I'm a bit shocked right now about that.
Now I'm having goosebumps.
About how easy it is to macam fall off the fall off the I want to be good Muslim punya trials just by food. Macam you tak control your makan. You know, if you tak control your makan, it's harder for you to focus. And just now you define again what is focus. What is the focus of a Muslim? Is to please Allah. And if you macam lose sight of that, you macam ikutkan your nafsu makan, it means you're pleasing yourself.
And then now I say that there's a trend. Every new cool Instagrammable cafe we must visit, and then after we eat we must post. Okay, no, that one is halal food things is like mean you want to educate people halal food lah. Okay, that is one of the struggle ataupun good challenge that you need to do. It means it's your amanah to do that. But for some people like macam dorang have this mindset, oh, this is my birthday, so I must go to the coolest halal cafe that is how to for IG worthy photo to take. There's such a person, and then like that is not the reason why we eat lah. Why we go to the restaurant or something? We go because we want to eat. One of the reason we eat because of Allah. When we say Bismillah, every grain that goes into our body will zikir for us. But if the main intention go is for take photo to show to become that we are the coolest human being on earth to show on our social media, then the intention dah need to recheck balik lah.
I see. But salah ke Ustazah? If we just eat because we macam enjoy sangat, kita suka like I'm very stressed today and I just want to like stress free, so I go to the best, coolest like halal restaurant and I just macam eat the best thing there to make myself feel better because I'm having a terrible day. Is that wrong? Is that wrong? I'm judging myself now.
I read somewhere, they say right, do not reward yourself with food.
Really?
And then Sheikh Hamzah said also, food is not for you to enjoy. Food is for you to nourish your body. Okay, so I know it's a Singapore culture. When we are happy, we buy food. At birthday, we buy food. We give people to eat, and then when we are happy, there will always be food. Okay, it is good to have it, but in a very mindful manner. Macam the content tu janganlah sampai 10 jenis air, 20 dulang lauk pauk masak. Don't do that lah. Macam you eat because you need to eat the food, of course, but you must make sure lah the food is balanced. Ada carbohydrate dia, ada protein dia, kan dah keluar. Ada all the vitamins.
So it's okay for you to enjoy the food. Tapi you have to be mindful about it lah. Macam
Yes.
you don't overdo anything.
Yes.
Okay,
Cuma
so
jangan
moderation.
make it a habit to reward yourself with food lah.
Okay. Okay, I try my best. I always reward myself with food.
Sometimes okay, this one I think you need to talk to someone who manage stress person lah. Whatever that stress us out, right? There's something unsettling. So we need to actually dig out what is it that is bothering us. What is it that is making us so stressed? We need to clear that. Do not hide it or do not macam cover it with eating nice food. That one is just only 2 to 3 minutes. Then after that, you will think about the stress again. Then you go back to the fridge again. So it doesn't help. Okay.
Okay,
So
I think you can
before
see my
you
guilty face right now.
No, I'm not there. I'm tagging. This is also a reminder to myself. So when we are stressed, there's something that we need to tend to it. Okay. So of course, before some people say straight away go to zikir. Of course, you have to remember Allah. But sometimes zikir also doesn't help for some situation. So what you need to do is calm down, minum air putih, plain water first. And then ask yourself, what is it that is bothering me? What is it that make me so stressful that I cannot take it? Ask yourself. Then you cakap, alah. Then usually when you ask this question, right, maybe your brain can rewire yourself back. You settle down already, right? Then you say, for example, you want to go and get that ice cream. Then you say, do I need that ice cream or I just want to get away from the thing that I don't want to handle right now? Be orang cakap sincere with yourself. Okay, so if you try to decide, you still think of that ice cream, okay lah, bismillah. Go and take that one ice cream, one only. Don't take one tub lah. One scoop. Okay, and then sometimes the media also doesn't help. The movie, the drama. When you are sad, you go for what?
Food hand doesn't help also.
Alhamdulillah. No, I mean, you don't encourage people when you are sad or you stressed, go to ice cream. No, that is not the right way. When you are stressed and sad, you need to ask yourself, check yourself. Then if you best take wudu and then okay lah, dengar ngaji ke, dengar zikir ke. That is
manage the emotion lah.
Manage the emotion. Okay, then kalau marah dengan someone, you have to explain why is it that you are angry, not express your anger. So bila you geram, you marah, you pergi makan, you akan jadi lagi pemarah.
I see.
Okay, so
okay.
This is very interesting topic to talk.
Interesting topic. I feel like I need to invite a psychologist to talk about food and psychology.
Yeah. If you invite, I will definitely become one of your listeners.
I will. I'll try to find someone to talk about this. Okay, so let's take some questions.
Sure.
Okay. So first question, is vegetarian food by non-Muslim considered halal?
You need to know vegetarian is not just vegetable and fruits. Okay, sometimes they also contain something that is syubhah. Okay, so must make sure lah the vegetarian food there's no gelatin, no lecithin, no glyceride, no enzyme, no whey, no alcohol. Then only the vegetarian is okay to eat. But if again, a lot of people will say vegetarian by non-Muslim, right? You need to make sure lah that shop is not like certain shop. They are established because of a certain religion. Okay, so still go to the same scenario. If it's not emergency, okay, try your best to avoid it. But if emergency, that is the only available halal vegetarian food in front of you, right? Eat but not to macam enjoy lah. Makan sekadar badan boleh tegak, sihat.
Okay. From a halal auditor perspective, actually, vegetarian food has been known to actually contain a lot of alcohol because you need to make up and intensify flavors without meat as the carrier of those flavors. Okay? Okay, next. Okay. Can we work at Marks and Spencer in the food department and have to handle alcoholic drinks? Yeah, so macam mana Ustazah? Like if I'm a Muslim but I work in a place that I have to handle alcohol, is that okay?
Okay, I think a lot of establishment or company like shopping center, grocery shop. Of course, the best is if possible, you try to work at a shop or somewhere yang halal lah. Tapi if you need to, that's the only job you have right now, and then it's okay. Okay, but there's one, again I forgot the name. One scholars dia cakap apa? This person, when they need to handle alcohol or non-halal food, right? They are not using it with the right hand. They are using it with the left hand. Why? Nah, because Allah is not happy with that, right? But that is the only situation, the only option they have. So they do it, but they are not reda with it. Okay, so if you have this job, do your best at the job, but try your best also to improve your skill so you can go and find a better job lah, the which doesn't handle alcohol or non-haram food.
That means, okay, then I want to take this question one step further. In my space, there is a lot of food delivery drivers, food delivery riders, kan? They deliver food for mainstream platforms for food delivery. So sometimes they also have to send non-halal food. Okay. So is it okay, or like macam if they are given a choice to work for a halal only food delivery company? You get me? Is that considered like a better choice? Like is it advisable for them to make a switch as a commitment to halal? Or is it like not necessary, macam it's okay if you like can deliver non-halal food, so it's fine?
I think as a delivery guy, before you accept the order, you need to make sure what is the content about, right? If you have the choice to choose, kan, better to choose the halal food lah, the halal content, the halal goods. But if there's no option for you to choose, right? You don't have the choice to choose. Then you deliver, but you do your best lah. You must say inside your heart, I don't reda with this transaction. I just do it. Okay, and then like maybe you can do send the deliver using your left hand ke apa-apa sajalah. Then at the same time try your best to this one. But one of the thing is that your dua, your conversation towards Allah is like, ya Allah, give me halal rezeki. Give me halal abundance, right? So insyaAllah there will always be door for you to serve the halal industry. Okay? But I think this matter was mentioned somewhere. If I found that I can share, then maybe you can share with the audience, insyaAllah.
Yeah, it's actually a common question lah, especially bila kena handle halal and non-halal food kan. Yeah. But I think it's a view because kadang-kadang we don't have all options all the time, you know. So we just do our best and always doa for halal rezeki. Okay, I want to take this question. Is it okay to dine in restaurants which are not halal certified in SG but uses halal friendly ingredients in KL or Dubai? I cannot see the rest of the question, but that's where it stops. I just want to make a mention of this halal friendly thing. I think as we move along in this Halal Savvy series, I will do a breakdown on this halal friendly thing and how I'm actually not comfortable with it at all. Because if you were to do a breakdown, as media, we actually get invited to such places tau. And most of the time when I ask them macam questions like, okay, you mentioned that you're halal friendly, right? Can you explain why do you use this term? And why do you want to classify your food under halal? right? And most of the time, the answers that they give uh, are not satisfactory to me. To me as a former halal auditor, and I know the system. So macam it's most often than not satisfactory to me. And once again, it is, how to put it, it is the context, like what we are talking about today. So if they use these terms like halal friendly, Muslim friendly, all this kind, I would say that it is still, you have to take it in the context. So let's say if you are in Singapore, Malaysia, Dubai, where halal, like food which are clearly halal, are marked out in the country. Like, you know, ni yang these shops like confirm halal, and then there's one shop aja yang halal friendly. So it is basically obligatory or better, or highly encouraged for you to choose the clearly halal ones. Anything that's halal friendly, I still consider them as syubhah totally. It's not a clear halal. Tapi in a context of, let's say you are in USA, or you are in Europe or London or Amsterdam, where I was at these places at some point. And there are no other halal option. There's no, like, I don't see any kebab sellers or Muslim guy or the halal guys at the no, I don't see all these, like, you know. Tapi and then everywhere else, pub, you can, like, semua ada alcohol, no, they sell pork ribs, but only one shop says that it is halal friendly. Then I would eat there. Yeah, so that, because that is the best halal option at that point in time in the context. So that's why we make different halal decisions when we are in different countries. Okay, Ustazah, do you want to add on to this question?
I agree with you, Jums. To me, it is not about it is okay or not okay. You need to ask your intention back. Why am I eating at this place? Is there no other halal option? So you really have to macam, not just because you are hungry then you go to the shop and then you find out that the shop is halal friendly. The best is like macam still avoid it as much as possible unless you are in a very country memang tak ada halal food, and if you don't eat you will fall sick, then you can eat but in a very small amount that can make you focus and continue living lah, to survive for a few hours apa dan sebagainya. After that go and find the halal food. Okay, so some like macam in Singapore sometimes those who work in the non-halal company, okay, and then you have what D&D, or D&D of course actually dah tak halal kan, tapi you need to attend. So the food, if it's served by non-halal restaurant, still
dah
the
tak
same.
pasal COVID.
Pasal COVID lah. The best is
Okay,
still like macam avoid as much as possible.
Okay, can. I prefer not to mention brands in this conversation because it will be recorded. So
Me too.
yeah, so Zua, you have my response, okay? Yeah, and my response is, so far in the market, whenever I question restaurants who use terms like halal friendly or halal friendly ingredients, stuff like that, I still find their answers not satisfactory to halal requirements. Okay.
Or sometimes when I ask them, right, they said that my provider is halal. So I say, who is your provider? You provide me the name of your food provider lah. Okay, if they can provide, mean they are truthful lah. If they say, oh, we cannot give you the name of the people who provide us the food. Okay, so the best way is leave it. Don't eat.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, last question, Ustazah. This is the one yang in business setting, the place they choose to eat at may not be halal certified. Is there permissible? Is it permissible? Is it an exception in that case for syubhah? So this exception is in business or work settings lah, when they are eating at places which are not halal. Or basically, how do you handle it, especially when you cannot avoid the place,
Attending the
macam
meeting, like
what you
for
mentioned,
example.
D&D, stuff like that. Yeah, you cannot avoid, especially macam let's say kita buat sales kan, And this is very real lah. Kalau kita buat sales kan, one of the things that we have to do is we have to socialize with our clients. And sometimes when we socialize tu, tempat tu actually tak halal. Yeah. So how do we manage it? Yeah.
Okay.
What is the recommended?
First, if you can, ask for them to tell them, is this cucumber or is this watermelon? Only watermelon. Okay, so you must ask lah if possible. If not, you just drink water or just drink juice. Okay, but if you know you will be hungry, so you eat before you going there. Or you must make sure there's a snack inside your bag so you can munch after the get together, so socializing is over, you go lah and eat somewhere that is halal. Okay. If people say why don't you eat, you can just say I choose not to eat. That's all.
I fasting.
Kalau malam kelakar sikit lah. Oh, intermittent fasting. Okay. InsyaAllah lah. I pray that those who have this situation, may Allah open a way for you to eat halal food. Always remember, no matter how challenging or how burden you feel it, you do it because of Allah. InsyaAllah, Allah will help.
Yes, I agree, Ustazah. Okay, we have come to the end of everything that I wanted to discuss with you in this session. Do you have any final words for our audience, Ustazah?
My final word is that eat mindfully. Remember, the intention of eating is because of Allah. We want to eat so that we can do more ibadah, can focus more on our work, our responsibility as wife, as mom, as daughter, as student. So always remember, that is the easiest thing lah. We eat because of Allah. Alright, that's it. And thank you Halal Food Han and Jum again once again for inviting me.
You're welcome, Ustazah. Thank you for the follow. Ustazah, maybe you want to share with the audience about the Modern Muslimah project?
Oh, okay. The Modern Muslimah project is actually Islamic education provider in Singapore. So since 2020, we moved 100% online. So all our workshop and program are on Zoom. So check us out. Maybe insyaAllah starting October, we will come back with a lot of program. So the latest one we will do is the how to get hitched the halal way.
Oh, dating ya, Ustazah.
Okay.
Oh my god. I have my own story, but that's for okay, before I end, I just want to remind you guys that Halal Savvy is an educational series by Halal Food Han to educate people about halal and about food. And we are covering a lot of ranges of topics surrounding halal food, including about the religious aspect of food. Okay, and if you guys want to, through this educational series, we're actually trying to reduce our dependency on advertising income. So if you like to help sustain our content for Halal Savvy, you can make your contributions. Buy us coffee, buy Ustazah some coffee at ko-fi.com/halal savvy. You can make your contributions there, and hopefully, inshallah, if this is a community sustaining project, we will continue it for as long as we can. Thank you everyone for watching. You guys can check this out conversation. You can check this conversation out again on Spotify when it's ready and uploaded. We will announce again on Halal Food Han. Okay, thank you Ustazah for joining us, and thank you for sharing your gems of knowledge. And we'll see you again soon, inshallah. Assalamualaikum.
Inshallah. Assalamualaikum. Salam.
Bye.